Did you see the new gameplay for Spider-Man?
Well, I don't know if I saw somebody had one of the YouTubers I follow did a hands-on preview with it. So I saw some stuff from there, but and then I saw the trailer for the digital deluxe edition. But I don't think I saw I didn't see a gameplay trailer or anything.
Oh yeah, it was a new state of play, and they released a new gameplay trailer, and they just showed off some stuff. They showed off a bunch of the suits.
Yeah.
How that's gonna work, stuff like that. But, yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna get the deluxe edition actually because you get 10 more suits.
Yeah.
Usually I don't care, but Spider-Man's the one thing where I'm yeah, I want those extra suits. So I'll finish a bunch for that. Yeah, I mean it looks good. I mean I do wonder how much if I'll feel like the New York part of it is repetitive, since it is essentially this. I know they've doubled the size essentially, but it is still it's still Manhattan and then surrounding areas. So it's I don't know what you really do with a Spider-Man game other than that, but there was part of me that was hoping that there'd be a new it'd be a different location, but I get also that.
Yeah.
Story-wise, I don't know how much it would work, and also it's really well that open world is really well made and everything, so it's probably fine. All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Earth's Mightiest Comics. This is the show where every week we go over the new comics that came out that week. Not all the big stuff, but a lot of the big stuff. We talk about whether or not we enjoyed them and whether or not you should be reading them as well. This week, there is just a boatload of new number ones and just big things in general, including a new Daredevil series starting, a new series from Al Ewing called Avengers Inc, new series from Joshua Williamson called Batman and Robin, and then just a bunch of other stuff as well. The Dawn of the Sea is kind of rolling back into effect now that Night Terrors is over, so there's some stuff there. But yeah, should be a good week of comics here to talk about. Just a reminder that there will be spoilers for everything, and time codes will be below if you want to jump around to anything in particular. Now, Sebastian, I'm thinking we start with Daredevil, but what do you think?
Considering it's your favorite, well, you can start with Daredevil.
Okay. So, yeah, this is a new Daredevil series. It's written by Saladin Ahmed with art by Aaron Kuder. If you've listened to the show before, you may have heard me talk about the previous run, which I love, the Chip Zdarsky, Mark DiCicetto run. I think it's excellent. I think it's probably my favorite Daredevil run ever. And yeah, so I was a little bit skeptical. Not skeptical, but I was a little bit, I was keeping my expectations in check for this series because it's not Chip Zdarsky. I hadn't read much from Saladin Ahmed. I didn't know how much I like his writing on this. But yeah, here we are. And I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, Sebastian, because for me, this all makes sense because I've read the previous run, but there's a lot of stuff in this where they're just right at the start, they're Matt went to hell and he's a priest now, and Foggy's nowhere to be seen, and so it is definitely a status quo shift. So how did you feel about this not having read the previous run?
Well, all right. So I know a lot from the previous run. I knew he died. I knew he went to hell. I didn't know he became a priest. I knew Elektra was Daredevil, but so I knew all of that stuff going in. I didn't realize that he basically lost his memories.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, he seems to have amnesia. Yeah.
Yeah, some sort of amnesia. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I liked it. I thought this weird demon devil man thing, taking over Elektra's body, was cool, and I liked the fact that going forward that we're gonna get more of them, more of these weird demon people.
So I have a feeling I think that was the manifestation of Sloth, one of the 7 deadly sins, and so at the end he's the rest are coming for you. I think it's the rest of the sins. That's my interpretation there.
And you saying Sloth because he kept on saying he was lazy and stuff?
Yes, yeah. And they even Matt kind of mentions that a few times throughout the issue as well in relation to some of that stuff. So I think there's a lot of kind of discussion on Matt's Catholicism and the whole 7 deadly sins and everything coming into play here. So I think that's kind of what I'm picking up on this. That's my call.
Gotcha. Well, okay, so but then right, so there was one scene in here where he finally like exercises the demon off of Elektra, right?
Yeah.
And you see him burning in Daredevil's like old suit, the one that was yellow.
Yes, yeah.
What are we thinking about that?
I don't know what the deal with that is. Yeah, that also confused me.
Because that could have some sort of meaning there too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm kind of curious about that one now too.
Yeah. I also liked this generally. I don't think it starts as strong as the previous run did. That was going to be a high bar to clear, that I was not expecting it to clear that bar. I'm glad that it's not like immediately like, oh, Kingpin's back and Bullseye's back, although Bullseye looks like he's coming back in issue number 4, so he will not be gone long. But I'm glad that we are at least starting with something that seems to be new. The art where like it's his head on top of Elektra's body is really weird and freaky. But I think the art's okay generally. I think the faces are a little bit off at points. But otherwise, I think the artwork's fine. Like I said, I'm glad that we have a status quo shift for Matt again. I think the best Daredevil runs do that, and that they really like change up. Matt is a character that's very rare in the big 2, and that he's actually kind of allowed to develop and do different things. And I don't know why that is. Because he's I would almost say he's an A-list character at this point. If not, then he's very high B-list.
Yeah.
And usually when you have a character that high profile, they do kind of have to just stay in their own status quo. But I think Daredevil's kind of defined by how often his status quo changes at this point, and this continues that. So I'm glad about that. Yeah, I think other than that, this is kind of a lot of setup here, but I think it's well done.
Yeah, it's not those setups where it's just setup. Like this one actually had some like action behind the setup,
Yeah.
Not like the full number 1 or something where it was just like, yeah, it's boring.
Right. Yeah, I think also I'm glad that Elektra is still sticking around as Daredevil for now. I think genuinely, I think that's the best thing that's ever happened to her character is her becoming Daredevil. I think Elektra can be quite bland otherwise. Granted, I haven't read there's a lot of Elektra stuff that I have not read. Like I've only just started the Frank Miller run, so like, I know there's a lot of stuff that's where she got introduced, obviously. But I generally think that she's worked best since becoming Daredevil in this. I think it's interesting that he's a priest now. That's that's a new direction for the character that I like. I'm actually surprised that, because I normally fucking hate amnesia plots in everything. But in this, actually, I kind of wish it went on farther, because he starts to kind of get his memory back by the end. He suits up as Daredevil at the very end of the issue. Yes. But I actually think it would have been more interesting for me maybe if Elektra had just been the only Daredevil for like 4 or 5 issues, and then Matt kind of gets his memory back at the end of that first arc as opposed to the end of the first issue, because then I feel like it would have had more impact. But that's just my thoughts on that. Yeah, I don't know. You got anything else you wanna say about this one here?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I like I said, I liked it. I don't think it was incredible, but I do think it's a solid start here. And I'm definitely, Daredevil's the one character where if he's on the cover, I'm gonna buy the issue even if it's terrible. But this was not terrible, thankfully, and I gave this one a 7 out of 10 to start off.
7 out of 10, yes. Yeah. I gave this one a 7.5, 7.5. Yeah, I liked it. It was good. Excited to read Daredevil. I haven't read a lot of him, so.
Yeah, I'm going to convert you, Sebastian. As this podcast goes on, you're going to also become the number 1 Daredevil fan, so.
Hey, I mean, I've always liked Daredevil, but.
You didn't even finish season 3 of the show, though, did you?
I haven't started season 3.
Oh my god, you got to watch season 3, man. Season 3 is the best season.
I know. I got to watch that one. Yeah.
What do you want to move on to next here?
Let's just go Avengers.
So this is Avengers Incorporated number 1. It is written by Al Ewing. He's one of my faves, and art by Leonard Kirk. Yeah, what did you think on this one?
Oof, man. Okay, so I enjoyed it. A lot of mystery behind it. I didn't know a lot of things. You have to be. I feel like you have to be very caught up with the comics to like really understand a lot of this.
Yeah,
Like,
this is kind of a sequel to Al Ewing's Wasp miniseries, which came out at the start of this year.
yeah. So I was I was kind of lost on a lot of things. Like, I knew like basically like mask people were like outlawed
Yeah,
essentially.
that's from Devil's Reign, right?
Yeah, I knew that. I didn't know
And like
about
Luke is
the.
there.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know about this like weird club they got going on.
Yeah, the Jarvis Lounge, that's from the Wasp series.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that either. And then I guess somehow this man is Vision.
Yeah, so this is Victor Shade, who was the alter ego of the Vision back in the day. I don't really know too much about Victor Shade or how he relates to the Vision, or if he like got separated from the Vision at some point and now is just his own deal. It kind of seems that's the case, because in this he's inhabiting the body of Whirlwind.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean the premise of this one is essentially it's Janet Van Dyne the Wasp and Victor Shade solving murders and mysteries and stuff, which I think is a great premise. And I love Al Ewing as a writer. He's one of my favorite writers currently working in comics. He might be it's either him or Ships of Darsky. It's my favorite writer in comics right now. So I will buy any comic that Al Ewing puts out. I didn't love this though, actually. It was very slow, and that's obviously
Very
deliberate.
slow.
And I think it was well written enough, but I think this one is going to be very much a situation of like a kind of procedural mystery show. I'm going to really like some issues and not like some other ones, just depending on the premise of whatever particular one that whatever mystery they're trying to solve that particular issue. And this one, I think, just didn't click with me as much. I also don't know how I feel about the art in this one. It wasn't really gelling with me. I don't think it was bad, but yeah, it wasn't really clicking with me. There is kind of an interesting reveal at the end where apparently like an older Hank Pym is behind the murders, or not quite murders. They didn't actually die.
Yeah,
but,
they weren't actually dead.
Yeah, so that's interesting. But other than that, this was very slow. I think the Victor Shade part of this is really interesting. And I think it also doesn't help, though, that I didn't love the Wasp miniseries. I think Al Ewing works best when he's got an ongoing series to really set up a lot of, kind of complicated plot threads and narrative devices, and then pay them off gradually as the series goes on. I think that's when he's at his best. Because my favorite two Al Ewing series are X-Men Red and Immortal Hulk, and that's very much the case with both of those, I feel. So this is an ongoing, which makes me feel more confident in that regard. But yeah, this one didn't really gel with me. I didn't love this first issue.
Mm-hmm. You see, I didn't mind the art. I didn't think it was like really. I didn't think it was bad per se. But that's not like the best art that I've seen either. I mean, I like mystery, and so I think that's why I enjoyed it a bit more. But yeah, we're gonna see where this story goes. I like the idea of having just like an actual mystery comic with superheroes behind it. I think it's a fun little like storyline that you could really work with.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
Moon Knight's gonna be in it. Yeah,
before Moon Knight dies. Yeah, Moon Knight's dying, and it seems like then he's gonna get replaced by a new Moon Knight in January. That's a topic for a different day, but that actually I'm really excited for. You should get on and reading that Moon Knight series; it's really good. Anyway, this one I was disappointed in. It was kind of what I expected it to be. To be fair, I've read enough Al Ewing at the point where if you tell me an Al Ewing synopsis or a synopsis for a new Al Ewing series coming out, I can pretty easily pin like what it's gonna feel like and what the tone is gonna be and kind of how it's gonna go, because I've read a lot of this guy's work. But I didn't really like this one quite as much as I thought I would. I'm still gonna buy every issue. I love Al Ewing's work, and I can't discount. I can't write off the fact that he's gonna pull out some really cool stuff as the series goes on. But for me, this one didn't land. I gave this a 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. I gave this one a 6 out of 10.
Okay. Do you just want to knock out the Cull real quick since you read that one and I didn't?
Yeah, all right. I got you. More setup still.
Which is a
Honestly.
problem because now we're halfway through the series.
Yes, yeah. We got a bit more interesting things going on here. We met some weird animal thing. Yeah, it's kind of just them walking through like this like I want to say like a lake. I want to say probably
Yeah.
I don't really know what to call it though, but it's like a lake. And then yeah, they meet this weird thing in like a forest area, and they follow it, and that's pretty much it. Very last panel, the weird animal they were following has like turned into like some sort of human form thing. I don't know. The forest is glowing, and it's yeah, what else can I say? Oh, they talk about liminal spaces. Liminal spaces. You know what those are?
I do know what those are, yeah.
Yeah. You know what else is a liminal space?
No, I swear to God, if you say the fucking back rooms, I'm gonna
The back
quit the
room.
pod.
That's it. This one was my pick of the week. Best
my
one
God.
this week. 5 out of 10 out of 10 on this one right here. That's it. Liminal spaces, guys.
Yeah, okay, so I don't think I'm gonna be picking up the next issue of this. I had plenty of time to read this morning before we recorded, and I just didn't because I was like, I don't really want to, and I flipped through the pages and I was just kind of looking at the art and I was like, based on what I'm seeing right now, I don't see much development here. I'm not feeling it, which is a shame because I like Kelly Thompson as a writer a lot. She wrote Birds of Prey 1 last week, which I really liked. You know, this is a writer that I like, and the art I think is fine from what I see. Yeah, I didn't that's kind of when I get to the point where I buy an issue and then I really put off reading it, that's when I'm like, okay, it's probably time for me to drop this series. So that's happened with Scarlet Witch recently, and it's happened with this one as well. So I don't think I'm going to keep going with this series. I'll read this one eventually because I have it, so like I might as well. And maybe if I love it, then I'll pick up the next issue, but I don't see that happening. So I didn't read this, but I gave it a 0 out of 10. Just kidding. I didn't read it, so I'm not going to read it, obviously.
Yeah. My one complaint is I'm not too much of a fan of the art style.
Yeah.
So, but besides that, yeah, it's I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10 for me. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I'll do the one that you didn't read here, which is Well, actually, there's two that I read that you didn't read. I'm going to go with Spine-Tingling Spider-Man number 0 first here, though. This is also written by Saladin Ahmed, who did the writing on Daredevil 1. And the artist on this is Juan Ferreira, which is the main reason I picked this series up. At the end of last year, Juan Ferreira did a series. He did art on the series called Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which the art looked fantastic on. I have not finished. It was a 5-issue miniseries. I read the first 3 issues, and then I dropped it. Actually, I read the first 2 issues, dropped it, and I've been reading the rest now. I just started again digitally on Marvel Unlimited. So the art's great, but I do think the writing was not amazing. It was okay. So it was written by the people who wrote Daredevil and Echo, which, as you know, neither of us liked.
Yeah.
And one of those writers was actually one of the members of the Black Eyed Peas. And there's a really there's a really weird sequence in issue 3 where there's an extended sing-along sequence in the issue to I Got a Feeling. It's a very bizarre sequence. But the art was great. And so when I saw this was coming out, I was like, cool. This is it's the first time this story has been in print, but it is a collection of the Marvel Unlimited digital exclusive comic that came out for this. And so I was interested because that's a kind of style of comic that's meant to be read on a phone. It's just you scroll up endlessly until the issue is over.
Yeah.
And so it's very vertically designed. But I do think it actually transferred well to the page here. I don't feel like it was distracting and that it felt like it was formatted for mobile. So since this is the collection of the entire thing, it is quite long. It's 92 pages. I had to read it in 2 batches because it was quite long. But I liked it. I think it was good. I think the art is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here because the art is just so fantastic. But the story was cool too. I think it worked well. I think it was best in the middle chapters, actually, like chapters 4 through 6 were I think the most creepy and interesting because it is broken up into 8 chapters. Yeah, I really don't have too much to say on this one. It's essentially Spider-Man keeps hearing a voice just endlessly singing this creepy song in his head that keeps kind of evolving as the issue goes on. And through it, he gets transported to all these like weird dreamscapes and stuff. And it's really cool. But I really don't have too much to say on this one. It is dating a sequel series that starts next month. That's why this one is collected in print now. And I am going to read that sequel series. I think this one was interesting and cool enough that I'm interested to see where it goes. But yeah, I like I said, don't have much to say on this one. I gave this a 7 out of 10, but I would recommend it. I think it was cool.
Cool. Yeah, I'll check this one out.
Let's do Dark Ride.
Next. Dark Ride. All right.
So I like this series. I think it's good.
Yes.
My problem with it though is not even the fault of the series. It's the fact that the inconsistent publishing schedule just makes it really hard for me to remember what happened in the previous.
I was struggling. I was like trying to remember everything. I was like, okay,
yeah,
who's this guy again?
Right. And I think I mentioned that last time, because last time you read all 7 in a row.
Yeah.
But yeah, now we're in the same boat. And I think I remember the last issue more than I normally do with these. We actually talked about it on the show, so I kind of it stuck in my mind a little bit better, I think. I know last issue we saw Arthur Dante pop up for the first time.
Yes.
But yeah, this one is a quick read, pretty quick read.
This one was very, very quick.
Because it was a lot of just the Danny mascots trying to kill Sam, and him just fighting them off, and then not a whole lot of plot development. That being said, there is some. Like we find out that Arthur Dante, Sam's dad, did not actually kill his mom. Yeah. It was some sort of self-sacrifice thing on his mom's part to keep Sam and Halloween safe from some mysterious entity that I don't think we really know about. It just seems like it's probably just the devil.
Yeah, I'd assume it's whoever he made the deal with for the park and stuff.
Right. And then at the end, Sam's wife or ex-wife probably gets killed. She gets stabbed very hard, at least.
I don't think she's gonna die, but yes, very severely injured for sure.
Yeah, she gets stabbed so much. And then his daughter gets kidnapped.
Yes.
So I think Nicole might die, but we'll
daughter possibly dies. Yes.
No, Nicole's the ex-wife. I don't know the daughter's name. Yeah.
I say daughter might die.
I don't think they're going to kill the daughter. I think Joshua Williamson. I think if it was James Tinney in the 4th writing this, they would kill the daughter, but I don't think Joshua Williamson would kill the daughter. Yeah, this was good. I liked it. It was definitely one of the better things I read this week. But it was quick, and then because of that, I don't have a lot to say on it. I do think the sequence where the Dannies transport Sam back in time, where he's in the flashback where he sees his mom essentially just sacrifice herself. Yeah. I think that was a really good sequence. I think that was the best sequence of the issue. But outside of that, I don't know if I really have too much to say on this one.
We gotta question why he showed him that though.
That's a good point. Yeah.
What is the point of that? Because they were trying to kill him, right?
And now his daughter. Yeah.
Yeah, because we learned that blood sacrifice or whatever.
Right.
I don't understand that, but
right.
Yeah, so now they're taking the daughter, so it's like, why show him this? I don't understand. We gotta know.
Maybe because they won. Maybe the sacrifice that his mom made is the same kind of sacrifice that they are now asking for, and so they want him to understand so that he'll willingly sacrifice himself. That's my best guess.
Yeah, that's a good guess.
Yeah, I don't know. You got anything else to say on this one? I really don't.
Nope, not really.
Okay.
Not much more than you've already said. No.
Yeah. I mean, I still like it. It's good. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I think this was
yeah. I still enjoy the series. I gave it probably an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Well.
It is interesting because it's another 2-month gap now.
Yeah, November 8th I saw.
Yeah. But it's also that's strange to me because it's like this is a horror amusement park series where one of the characters is literally named Halloween. Why is October the month that they're skipping?
Right?
Yeah. And also the next issue is an issue centering on Halloween the character. So it's like if you're gonna put that issue out, then that would be a good time to do that. At least though there is an issue coming out in both November and December. So we have 2 months.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Oh. Okay, and now I guess I'll do Green Lantern now since you didn't do this. I know you were planning to though. I think this is probably the second best Dawn of DC series. I love this series. I think it's great. It's written by Jeremy Adams. The art is by Zermanico. Yeah, this issue it's still good. I think it is a little bit. We're in the reset phase after Night Terror still, so it's kind of, I think, still building up some momentum that was lost a little bit during that event. Because essentially the plot of this issue is just Hal is looking for Sinestro. Sinestro broke into the airfield that he works for, and Sinestro, and also a bunch of like other minor characters, like King Shark is in his crew. Captain Cold is apparently in his crew. It says Captain Boomerang and Black Manta make appearances, but I don't remember them. But so, yeah, so there's a kind of a bunch of B-list supervillains, B or C-list supervillains in this Sinestro's crew, and we don't really know what he's up to. But yeah, he at the end he walks up to Hal in a bar and is like, "Hey, I hear you've been looking for me." And that's kind of where the issue ends. And then there was a backup story written by Phil Kennedy Johnson and drawn by Montos, and that is the backup that is setting up the Green Lantern War Journal series, which starts next week, about John Stewart. That one was fine. I didn't have too much to say on that one, really. It's just kind of setting up that series through the backup stories. But I still love the core part of the series. I think it's great. The art is fucking fantastic. It's really good. And the story's good too. I think this, development wise, not too much happened. This series has been pretty decompressed in the storytelling. But I still think it's really, really solidly done. I gave this one an 8 out of 10 also. I don't think this is my pick of the week, but it was very good.
All right. We can talk about Werewolf by Night now.
Okay.
What did you think of this? Because I know you don't really like the Werewolf by Night.
Yeah, Werewolf by Night's such a fucking dumb character, man. Like, he's a werewolf and his name is Jack Russell. Like, fucking, it's ridiculous. But that being said, I didn't hate this. I thought it was all right.
Is this a positive one?
It's not a negative. I don't know if I'd say it wasn't great. I think it was fine. It's written by Derek Landy. Artist is Fran Galan. I think, okay, what is cool, I like the art in this generally, but I think what really works about the art is everything involving Jack is in black and white, and everything involving Elsa is in color. I think that's a really cool choice.
Yeah.
Elsa, I think, is a cool character, so I think she works well here. I think off the back of the Werewolf by Night TV Disney Plus special, I think this character has gotten better. That being said, like, Jack really only shows up like once a year, and it's around Halloween. Like, that's really the only time he shows. So he doesn't get much development typically. So I thought this was a very solid, fine one-shot adventure between Elsa and Jack invading the spooky castle. I do think I liked it less as it went on. I felt like it kind of lost steam towards the end, but I didn't hate this. I thought it was okay. Where are you at with it?
I enjoyed it quite a lot. I did like you said, how there was like black and white and then color. The only thing that I really have like negatives to say about this is the villain, just his motive behind it, like that was revealed at the very end. I thought that was I just thought that was dumb.
Yeah, it kind of just pops up in the last like 5 pages, and it's
it's just like why'd you have to bring these other two people here and then say this? And it's just like what is the point of that? Like, it makes no sense, but sure, whatever. But yeah, that's like really my only negative to say about this one. I liked it. I did.
Yeah, I think it was okay. This is another one I don't have a lot to say about. There's not really kind of a big plot here.
No,
it was okay. I didn't hate it. Which is better than a lot of the other things you've thrown my way.
That's true.
But I still didn't love it. I gave us a 7. I think it was good enough, but not amazing.
I gave it an 8.
Okay. Okay, do we want to move on to the madness now?
Madness.
Yeah, this is really good. Still.
It's still really good, yeah.
This series is great. This is
good.
Written by J. Michael Straczynski, and artist is ACO. I don't know. It's all caps, so I don't know if it's ACO or ACO.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one kind of deals more with the origin of Sarah, and we see that the other persona within her is named Raven. Although also maybe not, like, Raven might not have been the one that came out at the end there, because they do say kind of. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that okay. Actually, yeah, that was to say that is true, because
Yeah.
The one that came out does say that they broke Sarah, which in turn broke Raven.
Yeah, and now the madness is all that's left.
And so now the madness is all that's left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we see kind of the first half of this issue deals with a flashback with her origin as we see her kind of bond with Sarah, or not bond with Raven, who becomes this kind of guardian angel throughout her life. And then the second half deals with her going and killing all of the people who killed her family.
Yes.
I think they're all dead now.
Well, I'm not sure because technically it was like put to a vote by like the superhero people. So I think, like the normal people, the ones that built the rocket and stuff.
Right.
Yes, I believe they're all dead. Yeah.
Yeah, that was where I was going to go next, is that the people who actually physically did kill her family are all dead, but now it's going to be, it seems like, the fight between her and the, I don't know, the Council of Justice or whatever they're called.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, I think that's going to be kind of what the next 4 issues are going to be going over. But yeah, art I think works pretty well here. It's interesting to note that they straight up say that Sarah does not have DID. It's not dissociative identity disorder.
Yes.
It's instead that this is just a natural being from like another dimension that got called in by Sarah to kind of protect her. Yeah, so again, not a whole lot to say on this one other than that it's great. I mean, not a whole lot of real plot development forward in this one, because it is essentially like the first half's a flashback, and then the second half is a very action-heavy kind of big art panel kind of thing where he just goes and kills everybody. So as a result, there's not a whole lot of real heavy plot development forward. But yeah, I still thought this was really, really great, and this is the best thing I've read from AWA, I think, for sure. I haven't read. There's a lot of AWA stuff that I haven't read that I've heard is really great, but I haven't read a lot of AWA stuff. But yeah, again, I don't know. I don't think this is my pick of the week this week, but I thought it was great, and I gave it an 8 out of 10 still.
Yeah, this one was really good. I liked how they split it up where it wasn't all just backstory.
I agree.
I liked how it was just like basically the very bare essential of a backstory. Like they didn't go too in depth with it, but they like gave us enough to be like, oh, okay, like that makes sense, and then continued back to the present and actually move along the story in the present. But still, I really enjoyed this one. Still, I gave this one an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I thought about giving this a 9. I didn't quite get there. I'm excited for the next one. Okay, let's do Venom Annual now.
Okay.
So this is the next chapter of Contest of Chaos. Right off the bat, so written by Alyssa Wong, and then the artist is Sergio Fernandez Davila. Right off the bat, this is in the wrong series. This should be a Deadpool annual.
You think so?
Yeah, Deadpool is clearly the main character in this issue.
Just because he started with Deadpool doesn't mean he's the main character.
Yeah, but they follow Deadpool. They start and end with Deadpool, and they like follow him throughout that entire fight. Like it's all his perspective.
It is.
Yeah, you don't really see much of Dylan.
Yeah, honestly, they could have made this a Deadpool annual. I didn't know that Dylan had the symbiote now.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's happened in that Venom run that you were not.
Yeah, I'm not caught up on that, so that was a bit of a spoiler for me. Luckily, I knew who Dylan was because of King of Black.
Right.
But yeah.
First of all, I also just want to say I also have not caught up on Venom. I have read the first 14 of this Venom series. I like it. I'm gonna keep going with it, but I'm not caught up. As far as the issue itself goes, I think again, I continue to applaud the way that they are keeping things fresh and not just making it straight up fight between them for every issue. I'm surprised at that. I really thought they were not going to do that. I thought they were just going to go straight up fight for every issue of this. This one I think this one suffers a little bit because of the placement in relation to last issue though, because it is another theme park.
It is.
It's structured differently in the sense that they're not fighting in the theme park, at least not initially. It is them completing a bunch of different challenges to get the the balloons that will then make them win the thing as a whole, but then right at the end they tie and they both have to fight each other anyway. But it's a really bad fight. Just Venom just bites Deadpool's arm off, and that's really it.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
I think I wish we had seen more of the challenges, because we don't really get a good sense of what they are.
I mean, the challenges themselves were literally just find the balloon.
Yeah,
find the right balloon. It was just in different areas of the park. That's
if you're gonna do a challenge-based thing like this, maybe make them unique and show more of them so that we get an actual sense. Otherwise, like, what's the point? I also do think, I remember saying last week that, first of all, I remember saying that I thought Venom would win in a normal circumstance, but I think Deadpool would probably win because of the writer and because of the context that this was written in. That I was half right because I said both, but Venom actually did win, so that's something. I think I also said last week that these are two characters that if you're not careful, they can cross the threshold very easily from fun into annoying. And I think they just crossed that line. I don't think it's terrible, but I think they just stepped over the line into irritating as opposed to fun for both of them. I didn't laugh at any of Deadpool's jokes, I don't think.
I honestly don't even remember him really telling jokes. I guess I did kind of like the Pennywise one.
Maybe, I don't know.
At the beginning.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it.
Yeah, I think and I like Alyssa Wong's Deadpool series so far. I haven't read much of it, but what I have read I think was fun, but this one didn't capture that energy for me. I was kind of bored for this one. I don't think it was terrible, and I actually think it was more good than bad mostly, but I didn't love it. I gave this one a 6 ultimately.
I'm glad you also thought it was like a little boring.
Yeah.
That's what I was feeling like. Kind of like thinking back on it, I was like, man, I didn't like hate it. I didn't love it. I just thought it was just like, it's kind of like a boring read a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it might just be the fact that, like, it's like you said, like, we're ready for this Contest of Chaos to be over. And I just feel like it's a bunch of the same things at this point.
Right.
Even if they are changing how the battles take place and stuff like that. Nah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it was just, ready for it to be over, I guess.
Yeah. There's a backup story as well, by the way. Not much development there. They just Clea and Agatha fight for a little bit, and then she's like, "Okay, well, I'm still gonna do this plan," and that's really it. Yeah, I don't know. What'd you give this one?
I gave this one a 5.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Okay, what do we have left? I think we only have 2 left.
We got Batman, Robin.
We got 3.
Oh, Bloodborne.
Batman, Robin, Bloodborne, and Hulk. What do you want to do?
Let's do Bloodborne. I really don't have a lot to say about this.
Okay. I also don't have much to say on this. This is Bloodborne, the Bleak Dominion #1. It's written by Cull and Bunn with art by Piotr Kowalski.
Yes.
I like this one a lot, actually. I think it was good.
I'm not sure how to feel about it yet, to be honest. I feel like it jumped around a bit.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but like a bit between the two characters.
The 2 hunters and then the other hunter.
The hunter. Yeah, that's what I was like. But yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about it. I don't really know what it's trying to tell, other than the fact that is it supposed to be the smaller hunter's story or not?
Okay. Yeah.
And so I was just a bit left in the dark about it. What exactly is this supposed to be?
Yeah, fair enough. I don't know. I think it's the thing is actually, I say I like this a lot, and I do. The story is pretty straightforward and standard in terms of it's not really breaking any new ground. It's just these 2 hunters trying to find their protege, and we jump back and forth between them. There's a little bit of flashback, but I think what does work really well is, first of all, the art's great. But I also think even beyond that, they do a great job of capturing the setting of the Bloodborne universe. And to be fair, I never finished Bloodborne. I played a little bit of it, but I played it right after just finishing the first 3 Dark Souls, the 3 Dark Souls games, and then immediately before Elden Ring. So it's in this middle spot, and I just didn't finish it. And I was also trying to kind of play some other stuff in between, so I didn't get sick of the Souls-like formula before Elden Ring came out. I feel like this was very authentic to the Bloodborne universe. I think it looked really the look and the aesthetic of it, I think, really worked. And that was what most of this issue pretty much was, actually, is just that kind of feel and the vibe of Yharnam.
Yeah.
And I think that worked for me, and so I think as a result, the issue worked for me. Also, just want to shout out, there's some dope variant covers, man. Like, I don't know if you've seen some of these. Like, the cover scene in particular, I'm like, hell yeah. But so apparently there's actually been quite a few Bloodborne comics. I think there's like been 20 before this. This is the start of a new miniseries, but there have been other ones in the past. And apparently they're good. I saw a lot of kind of acclaim for those, so I might go back and check those out because I liked the universe and I think this was really cool. Yeah. I was surprised because video game tie-in comics, they're hit or miss, like really hit or miss. I think a lot of times with licensed comics like that are not original from comics, I think you run the risk of just kind of, I don't know, just being kind of weird fan servicey or just telling stories that are generic and not really kind of that they don't capture the feel and the vibe of the universe. But I think this one really did do that well, even if the story itself was not super engaging. I think that only works for this because so much of it was art and vibes. But because of that, I think I like this a lot. And I did give this one an 8 out of 10 as well. I don't think I can give this pick of the week, but I did like it a lot.
I'll give this a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. Are you gonna keep going at this one?
Honestly, no. I don't see myself.
Really? Okay. Again. Wow. All right. Damn. Well, you might be wrong, Sebastian.
I could be. Hey, I mean,
who knows what'll happen on the week that that this pops up next? I might just make you read that if we don't have anything else on there.
I mean, yeah. Who knows?
Okay. Do you want to do Batman and Robin or do you want to do Incredible Hulk? Batman and Robin's weirder.
Weirder?
Yeah.
All right. We'll do Batman and Robin.
Okay. This is a fucking weird comic, man. I didn't like it very much. I don't think it was terrible.
Why is it weird?
I felt like tonally and pacing wise, it was kind of all over the place. And also, like, the White Rabbit is also kind of just a strange character, I think, in general. Every time she shows up, I'm like, okay, interesting. Anyway, this is written by Joshua Williamson, and the art is Simone DeMeo. I think the art doesn't work, unfortunately.
The art I found was like super cluttered a lot of the times.
Yeah, I agree. And also, like, it's so oversaturated and the lighting is, like, so bright everywhere. It's hard to see sometimes and hard to figure out what's going on. Which is a shame, because I think the artist actually is very talented. I think he's a very good artist. I just think it seems like he drew, inked, and colored everything himself. And I think that combination, I think it just ended up being I don't know if I like the coloring. I think is what threw me off, because of the lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, as I said, quite cluttered. There are definitely panels where I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah, there were some panels, like with the White Rabbit one, I was like,
yeah,
what exactly is going on? It was hard to follow.
Yeah.
And story pacing wise, I don't think it was that off. I think it's just them trying to, like, still learn how to be father-son, because they're still not really used to that. And now, especially without the mansion, it's just in a smaller space. What else? And without Alfred to, like, basically help, like, mediate the two.
Yeah.
I will say Damian himself, like, for some reason, is like, his Robin has always seemed like darker to me, and he's not in this one. And I think that's that's his, like, character development, But I feel like they are writing him a bit too close to how Dick's Robin was.
I don't know. I didn't get Dick vibes from him. And I haven't read a lot of Tim Drake, but that was kind of what I found myself thinking it was more like. And I don't know. I think Damian's less annoying in this issue than he sometimes can be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's not like, when I read this issue, I did not think like, oh yeah, that guy was an assassin who was like raised in the League of Assassins.
Exactly. That was like my problem with it.
Yeah. I did not buy the relationship between the two of them in this. I did not buy into it. I did not think it was compelling. I just didn't see it being, it just didn't gel with me. That part of it didn't click with me. Also, this should not be set when it is. This should either be set directly before or right after Gotham War, because I thought that was going to be the case, but they referenced Gotham War in this as being something that's ongoing.
Yep.
And it's like, dude, right now Batman's fucking insane because Zur-En-Arrh's taking over his brain and just making him go on this rampage across Gotham.
Yeah, they're gonna have some like timeline issues here and there with this.
And it's not even the timeline thing that bothers me. It's like he just doesn't act. He's not acting anything like that. Like he's just acting like normal Bruce. If anything, he's actually acting lighter than normal.
That's what I would think. I would say, yeah.
Yeah. So I think they made a mistake. But I think I would like this issue more if it was not set during the middle of Gotham War, because I would feel like it was a less jarring shift.
Yeah.
And I I'm being pretty harsh on this. I want to be clear, I didn't hate this. I think it was okay. I just went into it thinking that I was gonna enjoy this quite a lot. And I really was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is not what I was expecting, and not in a good way. So yeah, I don't know. I don't care about White Rabbit as a villain either. Killer Croc is kind of involved, which is cool, I guess, and so is Man Bat, which fine.
And we get some mystery dude.
Who is the mystery dude?
We don't know.
No, but like
dude,
what
the
role?
dude that shot Batman with the gas pellet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know who that is.
Right, I guess that's true. Yeah, I don't know. Again, like I was expecting more from this. I like Joshua Williamson generally. Like I really, he wrote Dark Ride, which is great. He's writing Superman, which is also great. And so I like this writer, and I'm gonna give it one more issue. Depending on how that goes, maybe I'll give it a third. But right now, I am leaning towards not reading this for much longer. I gave this a 6 out of 10. I do think it was generally more good than bad. That's just because it was not even that I think there was anything really terrible in it or great. I just think it was very kind of just strangely paced, and it felt just really quick, like too fast paced, and I just didn't. I felt like a weird disconnect when reading it. Like it didn't even really feel like I was reading a Batman and Robin comic, and so I think as a result, as a result of that, I just gave it a 6.
Yeah. For writing wise, I just think they're not getting the characters right. Like Batman is like literally going insane right now. I feel like they didn't do Damian as well as they could have. Art style is just feels really cluttered and cramped, and it's hard to follow some of the scenes that's going on. But besides that, I didn't overly mind it. I didn't hate it. I'd give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to the final issue of the week, I believe, which is Incredible Hulk number 4. This is my pick of the week. That being said, I do think this issue is way better once you get to the second half. I think it's also okay. So this is written by Phil Kennedy Johnson. The artist is not Nick Klein on this one, and I think that does bring the issue down a little bit. The artist is Travel Foreman. Not to shade his work. I think it does work towards the back half again quite well. But I do think Nick Klein's art is part of why this series has been so cool and so creepy so far. So this is kind of split into 2 parts here. The first half is Charlie and Bruce kind of just going around and kind of talking and having some character development. Yep. Doing a bit of a character development, if you will. And the second half is when things really kick into gear. At a certain point, Banner ditches Charlie at the restaurant and goes out on his own. Charlie sees her, what I assume is dead brother.
I think they're dead, yes.
Yeah. Well, I know her brother's dead. I just don't know if it's actually her brother or not. So that's like a creepy ghost possession thing there. And then Bruce runs into the Man-Thing. So I think I said this last week. I love the Man-Thing. I think he's actually my favorite underrated Marvel character. Or I think he's the most underrated Marvel character. I think he's really cool. But I do also understand why he's not used as very often, because he is kind of a one-note character to a degree. You can't do a whole lot with him, which is why like the original Man-Thing series written by Steve Gerber, I think worked really well, because Man-Thing was a secondary character in his own series. Like it was more about how his presence impacted the lives of the other just normal people going around in the city. It was kind of almost an anthology style series where there were a lot of different kind of one-off stories of these, you know, just normal people who run into the Man-Thing and how it changes their relationship and effect with the world. But this was by far my favorite part of the issue, when Banner runs into Man-Thing and he's like, yo, you're the Man-Thing, right? I know you. And then Man-Thing absorbs Bruce inside of him. And then Bruce turns into Hulk inside the Man-Thing and then rips him apart from the inside. Like, that is such a cool sequence, and I love it. That's like peak horror, cool Man-Thing Hulk showdown. And then we also see at the end, he gets actually, I guess Man-Thing absorbing Hulk was actually transporting him into the Nexus of all realities, which is just in the Florida Everglades. That's always something that I found very funny. And so there, actually, Ted's consciousness is there, which is interesting. I don't know if we've seen that really portrayed in comics before and in Marvel. So Ted Salas is there, and he's like, and he seems to know about what's going on with the eldest and like the mother of all monsters or whatever. Yeah, that was really cool. When we got to that part, I was like, hell yeah, I'm way back on board with this. I do think the first issue, or the first half of the issue, I don't want to say it drags, but it is a little bit slower and not quite as interesting. But then once you get into that second half, I think it really takes off. And I'm really looking forward to the next one again. I would have loved to see more Man-Thing in this, but I do think he's going to be more prevalent in the next issue. And the next issue, unfortunately, still does not have Nick Klein on art. I'd like to see more of Nick Klein's interpretation of the Man-Thing. I think it looks really cool on the cover of this issue. But as it is, the art's fine. But yeah, I've been droning on here. What do you think on this one?
I've got a problem with this one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do. I don't like it when they make it seem, right, like the cover makes it seem like it's a big fight, Hulk versus Man-Thing. The synopsis behind this issue is the Green Giants throw down Hulk versus Man-Thing. There wasn't a fight.
Yeah, kind of.
No, not kind of. There was no fight.
I mean, they had like there was that 2 pages where they both killed each other. No, Sebastian, whatever knows fear burns at the Man-Thing's touch. Don't you know that?
Regardless, I don't like that. But yeah, I still really enjoy this Hulk series so far. Eldest is there. We saw this other really big monster at the very end that's been dragging people into the lake, into the swamp, in the marsh.
Yeah.
It's about to get Charlie. Charlie's name? Yeah, Charlie. And I guess that's going to be handled next issue. But yeah, overall, that's my only disagreement with this. I really didn't find the art that bad. Like people are saying in the comments. Yeah. Like people are really shitting on the art, and I really didn't think it was that bad.
I think it's just because it's not Nick Klein, so people are happy about it.
Yeah, but regardless, I didn't think it was that bad. My only problem was that the whole supposed fight between Hulk and Man-Thing. That wasn't a fight. It wasn't even a scuffle.
It was a bit of a scuffle.
It wasn't a scuffle. Man was literally just transporting him into the Nexus. That's all it was. It wasn't a fight. With that being said, I would have given this an 8, but I'm gonna put it down to 7.
I am giving this an 8. This is my pick of the week, probably. I think it's kind of I give a lot of stuff 8s this week, so it's kind of hard for me to tell actually which is my favorite. But yeah, I like this one. I think it was very good. I think it's really, I just love that point where Bruce finally sees Ted in the Nexus, and he's like, and Ted's like, yo, we got some shit to talk about here. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I need your help. Like that, I really like that kind of stuff. So that was cool. I like this one a lot. I think it was good. And you're wrong.
There wasn't a fight.
You would not like you would have a problem with the Green Lantern #3 then, because they're really punching on that cover and they do not fight at all.
They don't fight at all.
Yeah. Okay, well, that wraps up this episode of Earth's Mightiest Comics. Anyway, next week, it's no slouch either. There's a lot of stuff coming out next week as well. We have a series that I like a lot coming back. The Bone Orchard Mythos Tenement #4 is next week. We have the start of a new Captain America series from J. Michael Straczynski with Captain America #1. He's probably best well known for his Spider-Man run like 20 years ago. We'll have the start of the new Philip Kennedy Johnson Green Lantern John Stewart War Journal series at DC. We also finally have the next issue of Guardians of the Galaxy coming out. That one feels like it's been gone for a long time. We also have, I'm going to shout this out even though I'm not reading it right away. Predator versus Wolverine #1, where Wolverine fights the Predator from the Fox movies. Also, there's a new indie series coming out called Hexagon Bridge from Image. I'm quite interested in that. I don't know if it's going to be good, but I'm interested in it. Also, for any Noctera fans, Noctera comes back this week. I'm sure you already know that, but Scott Snyder's series. I'm not caught up on that, but I am planning to read some of that. Also, of course, new issue of Someone Is Killing the Children. That's very exciting. I'm excited for that. New issue of Superman as well, finally. Really excited for that. That series was so good, and then Night Terror just completely stopped it for like almost 3 months. So I'm excited to have that issue back. And then also The Witcher Wild Animals #1. I'm a big fan of The Witcher 3. That's my favorite video game of all time. So I'm very much looking forward to that comic as well. Sebastian, what you got anything you're going to shout out here?
What If Dark Carnage?
Yeah. Oh, it's also worth shouting out. There is a new Wonder Woman series starting this week. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull it or not. It's written by Tom King, who I find to be very hit or miss. So I'm gonna hold off and see what people say on this one. I think, unless Sebastian makes me read it. But for anybody who wants to check that out, that's also there. Yeah. Anyway, that'll wrap it up for this week. Thank you everybody for watching or listening. If you are on YouTube, you can of course leave a like and subscribe and hit the bell notification if you would like to know when more videos are going up. You can also leave us a comment what you think on the comics that came out this week. What did you like? What did you not like? What should we be reading that we're not reading? If you are over on Spotify, thank you for listening on Spotify. You can follow the show over there. We are just at Arithmetic Comics there. If you're on Spotify, you already know that. I tried to put a poll in last week, but it didn't work. So I may or may not be putting a poll in as to what your favorite issue of the week was this week. If it's up there, you can of course feel free to vote in that. It's always it'd be cool to see what people are liking the most. And if you want to get in touch with us directly, that is you can do that through Earth's Mightiest Comics Pod @gmail.com, all one word with no apostrophe in the word Earths. So yeah, like I said, that'll do it for this week, and we will see you in the next episode.